If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed.
A child shall lead them.
Yes.
We've got a DJ stream going on tonight. It's a middle breakfast. That's a combination of Tina and Middle Earth coming to you guys. The next song on our list is Dumblegore. Ooh, gore.
Dumblegore.
Risperidone?
Risperidone.
Risperidone.
That sounds like a medication.
Oh,
I had a friend that was, I'm pretty sure, but I thought it was Risperidone, but I guess it's Risperidone. I'm pretty sure it's some sort of medication. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the message from our DJs. Between 2018 and 2020, we're planning to record a new album, but D. Grasses ended up suffering from psychosis. Oh, so we had to take a break. After he recovered, he and his brother began to compose Lysergic Depression. 4 years after the misanthropic Ritual. We're back with an album full of paranoia, hallucination, and introspection.
Go ahead. Continue.
We're back with an album full of paranoia, hallucination, and introspection.
Oh, Lord.
Vitória da Consueta, Brazil. The band play doom metal. I don't know if I read that choppily or if it was so.
You read it choppily. You read it very choppily.
Okay, well, moving right along.
Okay. All right, and this song is 1 hour and 4 minutes long, dear listener.
So sit back and listen. No.
Okay.
We're lying.
Where was the timestamp
Okay,
you
so
had
the
again?
timestamps is going to be song number 4.
Yes.
Well, you know what is a little bit weird? If it's this one, then it's 42:26. That's song 10. Why did I think it was song 4?
Probably because it's song 3 or
yeah,
song
I don't know.
4?
I don't know.
Okay,
But
so
that's the one. Okay,
42:26.
so 42:26 to 49:44.
So what's happening is there isn't a single for this thing. It's just in the entire album. So what we have to do is download the entire album, which we did, and then find out where that song is located, and then play it. So
seriously, you guys, I'm drinking V8 juice.
Disgusting.
I actually really like it. I add salt and pepper to it, as
Disgusting.
my father used to do.
Disgusting.
And I showed it to Vinny when we were on the commercial break. I wish I would have waited because he gave such an aggressive response. What did you say? Ew? Disgusting.
Yeah.
You'd have thought it was a cup of mayonnaise, man. Wow. I wish I would have done it on camera though. It was really great.
Amy Lee says it's an antipsychotic used to treat schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Okay.
You're right.
Well, this guy, shout out to Jason, but yeah, he tried to burn down his house multiple times. Yeah. After he got put on risperidone, though.
After?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He used to walk around and put his lighter up like that and shit. Yeah.
The one I knew?
No. This is high school. School. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's terrible.
Okay, guys, here we go. 42. I've got it at 42:21. So you're going to hear the last part of the song 9, but then we're going to go into song 10. Okay. Risperidone by Dumblegore. Let's do it. Hear the lyrics? Where's the lyrics? There it is. to William. I think it's Narcisse John. Oh, no.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Shout out to the big homie. Gang.
Oh, man.
I think this is going to be the first, one of the few, I can count on one hand, the first non-DJ that's gotten one of these. Boom. Shout out to William. Damn. I fell for this dude, bro.
So did I. Especially, like, if we didn't read that intro about him having to take a break because of the psychosis and how bad it got, and then hearing that they came back and this is what they were putting together, like, man, this hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously growing up in a religious home or Pentecostal and stuff like that, like, if somebody was seeing things and it talked about faceless bodies and hungry eyes on the walls by my side, like, the automatic go-to is that it's demonic. I don't know this guy's situation. You know, I think that there's a chance it could have been demonic, but then there's a chance that there could be something going on in his brain. I was literally just listening to a TED Talk tonight. This guy, and the research that he's done, like, he's done 83,000 brain scans, including murderers and all kinds of different people have been scanned, and what they're seeing of the brain and the holes that goes in there when the people have had different traumas and stuff like that, and it really affects your brain. And even stuff like OCD, like it makes a part of your brain. In a healthy person, the back of the brain is very, very active, but in, like, if somebody is, like, has too much OCD, like, the front gets really active more so than the back, I guess. So just, there's a lot of things, and it's not as simple as saying that's demonic. You know, like I said, I do believe in that. I do think, I mean, I had a friend that was in that situation. I mean, she was seeing, you know, faces on furniture and in curtains and all over the place. And, you know, we were able to pray over her, and that changed for her. That's totally, it's not even a thing anymore. She was like a completely different person after we were done praying over her. So I do believe that happens, but I also think that not everything can be called demonic. And, you know, if somebody has chemical imbalances or there's something wrong with their brain and they're having to deal with this, like, that to me is like I can, you know, when I had postpartum, I dealt with, you know, all kinds of different side effects of that, you know, like your depression or paranoia, and all kinds of different things were really affecting me. So I can understand what a little bit of paranoia feels like. So, like, if you kind of push that forward and see, like, what extreme paranoia, because I've sat and talked with people with extreme paranoia, and I was like, at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how is this person, like, this paranoid? But that's completely not even happening. Nobody's watching them from the gargoyle eyes at the church. Like, nobody why do they care? Why does the government want to watch you?
Yeah.
But then, you know, like, once you understand what a bit of paranoia feels like, or, you know, when you understand what depression feels like, or anxiety, then you can say, okay, that felt pretty hard for me. And if you push that out to a more extreme state, how people would feel in those situations. As far as hallucination, I've literally never hallucinated. Not under any circumstances have I hallucinated. So that to me is like,
that you know of.
that was creepy. Yes, that I know of.
Right. I mean, how would you know if you were by yourself? Seeing something that isn't there.
Yeah, but what? It would be like, there's a cup here, it wasn't here before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I saw, like, a person, or well, I mean,
no, but I hear what you're saying.
I guess, I mean, I've seen shadows and stuff, and had, like, that, you know, like that paralyzed feeling when you're, like, asleep but awake. Sleep paralysis. Yes. So I guess you could categorize that maybe as hallucinations, because, like, I felt my eyes were wide open, like they were getting dry, and I was, like, looking, and it looked like the front door of my house was open, and I saw this black figure come in, and my bedroom door was open, and it walked straight in and straight into my bedroom, and then got on top of me, and then that I just was saying, Jesus, 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 and then it went away.
But I
guess maybe you could categorize that as a hallucination.
It's really fascinating because a lot of people, have that experience. We call it sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But is
Like,
it a hallucination? I mean, I don't think that, because when I actually
people
woke
call
up
that
after
sleep
that, all the doors were closed.
Paralysis, and a lot of people, you can't tell them it's not real. But because sleep paralysis is so ubiquitous, people
It gets
generally
kind of maybe put in another category.
yeah, people generally will say, yeah, like, you know, they're a lot less likely to dismiss it.
Yeah.
I just truly, I don't know the line between what we call quote unquote demonic versus what we call, you know, schizophrenia or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if it's something that's going on internally, or is it actually an external thing? Like, maybe the person is, you know, maybe there is something spiritual that's outside of them, or, you know, the same thing I guess could be said of people that have experiences with aliens and stuff. You know, like, people look at them like they're crazy. I mean, I've never had any alien experiences, but, you know, people look at them like they're, you know, they're semi-crazy.
The thing is that these meds are not like the be-all, end-all, in the sense that I've been around a few, and I'm talking about a few schizophrenic and schizoaffective people, and they don't tell me that the meds completely solve the problem. See what I'm saying?
What do they say?
It greatly reduces the problem, but it doesn't completely solve it. They still struggle with
Seeing things?
hearing things.
Oh, that's awful.
That paranoia. It's just there's a significant modicum of relief, and they're a lot better, and they're able to kind of get over it, get on top of it, and manage it. But I haven't heard them say, "Yup, it's completely gone." So I say to myself, like, sometimes, like, especially with you know, the farther you get away from theism, there's like the correlation causation fallacy, where there is definitely a correlation between brain activity and consciousness. But as we've talked about, nobody can prove currently that the brain generates consciousness. And as such, that's still a mystery called the hard problem of consciousness.
Right.
So that goes into that bucket for me where I say, yeah, like the brain, you know, these meds definitely affect chemicals in the brain, et cetera, et cetera. But you still can't definitively say those voices are only material, because that's essentially what you're saying. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying that's essentially what people are saying when you think about schizophrenia and things of that nature. It's like, it's only material, it's only chemicals, and if we could balance these chemicals, then you won't hear these voices anymore. And I want to be very, very, very careful, because I don't know who's listening, but I don't think you can make a hard and fast case scientifically that that's the case. And so when I look at things,
it's only chemical?
that it's only chemical, yeah. When I look at things like DMT,
Wouldn't it be crazy if the people that were, like, schizophrenic were actually, like, you know how, like, sometimes they talk about, like, aliens being another realm?
dimension,
and that,
yeah.
you know, another dimension or something like that? Wouldn't it be crazy, like, if they were actually, like, some sort of, like, supers, where they actually heard another realm or, like, another dimension, and they're actually supers, but we're looking at them like they're crazy, and then we med them up and treat them like they're outcasts? Or I don't really know people in that, like, I haven't spent any significant time around anyone in that situation, so I can't even really speak on it. I knew one, you know, remember we were working at that, there was that ministry that they were doing downtown, and they were trying to put in the windows.
Yes.
And the guy was helping put in the windows. Well, there was another guy there that was helping pass the screws, and he was like, I am schizophrenic. And I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that I actually was, like, a little bit scared, because I was like, I don't know anything about people with schizophrenia. Like, I don't know if all of a sudden he'll be like, and push me out the window, or what.
Right.
But he seemed, you know, completely normal from my vantage point, and he didn't, you know, do anything. So I don't really know, like, if there's, like, lulls with that, and then all of a sudden, like, it vamps itself up, or
the two folks that I knew or know that are have those diagnoses officially are incredibly intelligent. One of them was probably one of the top 5 most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. So, you know, there could be a discovery in 20 years to where they have access to some field or dimension or plane of consciousness that we don't have, but it's causing them a lot of distress.
Yeah, I was going to say distress. If you don't know what it is.
There's no paradigm for what's going on.
Exactly. Right? If there was a paradigm for it,
right,
and it was celebrated, like, okay, you're getting access to that, like, and it was celebrated instead of, I don't know, maybe things would be different.
Yeah, but the voices are generally malevolent. So, for example, they cause a lot of paranoia. So, like, the person that I knew, they'd be taking a shower, and then they would hear, like, yo, there's people in the living room. Those people that are coming to get you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was like... It was like somebody was like in the shower telling you this shit. Like, you know.
I legit have goosebumps.
Telling you that shit. So it's
no.
It's
and,
not.
And is it ever true? Like,
no.
Oh no.
That's why the term paranoid is always connected with paranoid schizophrenic, because
can they
the
tell
voices
a difference?
are telling them something when I have the conversation with this person about it, like, can they tell the difference? It's kind of like, yes-ish. They kind of know, but then they don't know. It's kind of like watching a scary movie, and then after you watch a scary movie, you're afraid of the dark. It's like, you know, you just watched a movie, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know, bro. Yeah. But it's on 50, because you're in the shower hearing this shit. So it's I understand,
God, that's so scary.
There's the whole treating them like they're crazy thing, but a lot of these people need serious relief. I mean, a lot of times they don't make it. Like, you know.
Oh, I can imagine.
So
yeah.
It's a hard kind of situation to navigate. I'm glad that this guy's got art, but again, like, immensely talented individual. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
Immensely talented individual.
Yep.
So, like, it's a horrible. He talks about his soul being crucified. Like, that's a real.
I know.
That's a real.
I know.
And the thing about crucifixion, it's a slow death. People took 2 or 3 days to die, and then the dogs would come at you and bite at you, and the birds, and the, you know, it was just a real painful, horrible, terrible way to die. And
they must end up alienating themselves.
What this guy go? Well, you know, people around you, like, what the, you know, I was in a situation one time, and, you know, dude had a lot of, you know, he had guns in his house, and I remember I told you, I said,
I wondered about that.
I said, you know, this is a couple of summers ago, I said, listen, if I don't text you in, you know, 20 minutes or something, like, call the cops or some shit, like,
yeah,
because, you know, there's paranoia, there was guns, there's just it's a very emotional situation. So I went in there, and I'm like, it was a very hard situation, you know, and mashallah, everything turned out well, by the grace of God. But, yeah, it's a very alienating thing if you don't have people that love you unconditionally. Obviously, with this person, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know. Yeah.
I love them unconditionally. And there's not a lot of people in my life that I love unconditionally.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, obviously that wasn't going to be a question. Like, I was willing to die.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I also had a family, so I was like, I wasn't gonna go in there just to die. So I was like, hey, if I don't, you know, hit me in 20 minutes. But yeah, I definitely see how that could be very alienating to your family, because, I mean, there were a couple frustrating moments.
Yeah.
You know, that summer, I'd say, a couple frustrating moments where, you know, it's hard. But thankfully, if you have people around you that can see past the illness or whatever it is, or see past the superpower or whatever. But on the other hand, if I were to say, it's fascinating, because when you're like, you know, extraterrestrials, maybe they're interdimensional beings, things of that nature, in our current kind of milieu, that's okay to speculate about. Nobody's going to say that you're crazy. Like, yeah, that's possible. It's like, okay, so if we can see that there are other dimensions, maybe some people say 10, some people say 6. If there are other dimensions and there are other consciousnesses in those dimensions, what are the odds that all of them are nice?
Mm-hmm.
And what if some of them are mean? And so what is the difference between a mean or a dark interdimensional intelligence and a demon? There is none. But because we use terminology, so instead of saying, oh, a sacred mushroom that brings you into the spiritual world, we call it dimethyltryptamine that gets you into an altered state of consciousness where you may or may not be operating in another dimension. Mm-hmm. Where you may or may not be interfacing with other self-conscious ontologies. Like, so because we're couching it in these naturalistic terms, now it's acceptable, even though you're describing literally the same thing, same event, same phenomena, same phenomenological experience from the human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
So nobody said, oh, you're crazy when you speculated that. Mm-hmm. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know where that line is between demonology and psychology. You know, between an exorcism and a prescription.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that line is. And I think the future is probably in the next 300 to 500 years, once these two camps get over themselves and their ego and their pissing contests, they'll probably be together. And that's probably what you're seeing to a degree. And Jordan Peterson is probably a prototype of that. Massively educated guy who can take, I think Jung was trying to get there as well, but massively educated guy who can take religious archetypes and things of that nature and apply them to the psychological world and people's well-being and things of that nature. Although Peterson seems to be just a Christian convert. Like, he played around so much on the outside with the archetypes that they took him, that Jesus took him.
Yeah, I think that, that is what happened. But some of his older stuff where he's not like that far, like, you know, I don't know, I find his stuff on when he speaks about biblical things very fascinating. But anyway, I really like this song, and it's musically it was beautiful. I really liked it musically. I thought he did a really a really great job with that. The vocal style I wasn't like so much of a fan of, but at the same time, like, we're communicating some real anguish of the soul, so it was fitting. And I just thought he was really honest and brave to say, you know, some of these things. Like, there's times one of the reasons why I almost didn't even want to do a YouTube channel was because everything that you say can come back at you in some random point. And so there's a lot of times where we'll be like, we get done on the channel and I think to myself, how many things did I say tonight that, you know, somebody could use against me later on? And I don't like that feeling. And, you know, he's creating.
I don't have that feeling.
Yeah, but you're very specific about the words that you use, and everything that you say like, and you're not going to feel bad for that. You know what I mean? Like, everything that you say, it's with a certain purpose to it. And a lot of times when I'm like talking, I'm just kind of like shooting from the hip. And so I'm not necessarily thinking through the implications. I mean, we said it once before. I was like, that's right, slap a Nazi. They should know that they could get slapped. You know what I mean? But then upon further investigation, I was like, wait a minute, like, maybe perhaps, you know, they may classify something that I believe or something that I do as a Nazi thing, and then that will give them rights to assault me or my children you know what I mean? In an interracial relationship, it opens up a whole thing, you know? So I'm not like in the same situation as you. So I think that there's a lot of things that I say that I'm like, shoot, should have not said that. Well, that probably wasn't, you know, I don't stand behind all the things that I say like you stand behind all the things you say with the same conviction. So when I see somebody putting something like this out there, like with this level of honesty, I gotta tip my hat to it, because, you know, there's a lot of judgment, especially with mental illness, that the world wants to put on people with mental illness and hallucinations and all that stuff. Like, there's probably whole swaths of people that wouldn't even want to stand next to somebody that was hallucinating. You know what I mean? Or could potentially hallucinate.
Most people don't.
So to be this honest, I just think is
most people don't want to be in that situation.
Because
I don't blame them for it either.
I don't either.
It's a hard thing to deal with.
I don't either. But people that are in this situation, a song like this must help them, because it makes them feel like, okay, like, I'm not completely alone. There are other people that feel this too. And, you know, he took a break from his music, but then he got back to it, and he's still accomplishing stuff. You know, he's not just stuck in, you know, a dingy apartment, not being able to get out and do something. So there's hope for people. Yeah, it's inspiring.
It's inspiring to those people, but it also is kind of a challenge to you. It's like, You're not a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. This guy's doing it.
Yeah. What
Like-
excuse do you have?
You can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can do it. It's very. What did you give it?
Um,
It's a solid 9 for me. Solid 9 for me because I don't know why, but it was kind of funky. It's kind of rhythmic. It was very like instrumental. A lot of people were commenting on the instrumentation.
I loved it.
The vocal style, I would have liked to have seen more variation, but that's why I got a solid 9. But it was just a really, 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 really solid song in my opinion.
9.2.
Really good song. All right, dear listener, there you go. Would you give it?
9.2.
All right, dear listener, we're coming right back with another one. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Down.
We're gonna pray for you, big homie, that stuff gets better for you too.